Hello students, in the previous video I have taught you about the displacement reactions. So this video is about double displacement reaction. Now as the name suggests, double displacement, that means that displacement is occurring two times, right? The name suggests this meaning itself, and somewhat it is related to that only. Displacement and double displacement reactions are at most common with only a little difference between them. Let's study how. The reactions in which two compounds change their elements to form two or more new compounds are called double displacement reaction. Did you notice the difference? Here it is involving two compounds changing their elements, right? And also they are forming two or more new compounds. In displacement reaction, the one was compound and the other was the single element, whereas here we have two compounds itself in which the elements will only interchange their position, no doubt, but they will form two separate different compounds also. Whereas in displacement reaction, one compound was being formed and the other element was left alone, right? So let's study how. This I have taken an example of a double displacement reaction. You can see we have silver nitrate, AgNO3, right? And this is how it is formed, as silver has valency +1, NO3 is -1, therefore it combines to form AgNO3. Plus it will react with NaCl, that is sodium chloride, Na plus Cl negative, and that forms NaCl. When both the reactants will react together, what will happen? Sodium will go and combine with nitrate, silver and go and combine with chlorine. And why do you think this happens? They were happy with their own compounds, right? With their own elements. Silver had already bonded with nitrate. So why did it come and bond with chlorine? That is the question. This happens because their atoms tend to go and join with the atoms of other element. Thus, when this tendency between them arises, it leads to the breaking of present bonds and formation of new bonds due to the rearranging of atoms. Thus, silver combines with chlorine and sodium combines with nitrate. This will form a compound called silver chloride. Ag is +2, Cl is -1. You might be wondering, here Ag is +1 and here is +2. This is just because the silver is present in two forms, +1 and +2. There are several elements such as copper, silver, iron, which have more than one form, right? So they can be present with more than one valency. Similarly is the silver. Always chemistry has one or the other exceptions, right? So this is how you will learn gradually that where you have to add +2 and where you have to add +1 with your experience in forming chemical reactions, right? Then now it has formed AgCl2. Sodium nitrate was simple, Na +1, nitrate -1, so it forms sodium nitrate, right? Now, as two compounds were being involved, two new compounds were being formed, element exchange was occurring between both. Thus, this was called as double displacement reaction. I hope it is clear. We will study some more examples related to double displacement, which will make you clear what actually it is. So, you can see here we have copper sulfate with hydrogen sulfide. So we took a compound along with another compound, hydrogen sulfide. This is how their formation is there. You can easily see it. Now I'll not be explaining with every type, right? You can see it and copy it down somewhere. It's as simple. Same crisscross method is being followed in every compound formation. There is nothing new to it, right? So you will see that hydrogen comes and bonds with sulfate, while copper will bond with sulfur. So copper bonded with sulfur, hydrogen bonded with sulfate. Now when hydrogen bonded with sulfate, it formed hydrogen sulfate, that is hydrosulfuric acid. H2SO4 is a very commonly known acid called as hydrosulfuric acid. So whenever you tend to combine copper sulfate and hydrogen sulfide, you make them react together, this acid is formed along with the solid product, that is copper sulfide, which is black precipitate. I told you it's a solid product. Solid means it might be a PPT, it's a precipitate which collects as the bottom, right? And this is black in color. Similarly, we have another example of lead nitrate which reacts with potassium iodide. You can figure out potassium might be reacting with nitrate and lead might be reacting with iodine. You might be having one question, that why isn't lead reacting with potassium and why isn't iodine reacting with nitrate? This is because I mentioned before only that metals react with non-metals. Okay, the compound formation will always occur between two different valencies charges, right? One should be plus, the other should be negative for a compound formation to take place. As I told you, that opposite will nullify each other. So this is how it happens. Lead is a metal, potassium is also a metal. Nitrate is a non-metal, as well as iodine is also a non-metal. Therefore, iodine will combine with lead and nitrate will combine with potassium. This difference, that why some are metals and why some are non-metals, you will study in two chapters. Periodic table one, the other is metals and non-metals. When you study periodic table, there are a lot of things which get cleared. Okay, for this chapter it is just the basic, that how are you forming a chemical reaction. Even if you not understand that how some reaction is being formed, you need not to worry, because gradually you will understand the same thing in the coming chapters. Once you will finish the chemistry for class 10th, these things will be clear in your head, that why are these different forms being present and how is it forming, right? So the other substance formed is potassium nitrate and lead iodide. Now this lead iodide is a yellow precipitate. Okay, so lead plus 2, iodine minus 1 combined to form lead iodide. It's a yellow precipitate. Okay, this is how some double displacement reactions occur. So we have completed four basic type of reactions: combination, decomposition, displacement and double displacement. We are left with only one type, that is redox reactions, which will have oxidation and reduction reactions. I will take further 3 videos on oxidation and reduction reactions along with their 2 major applications, right? Any problem, any confusion, please let me know. Thank you very much.